What's up, everybody? It's Alexa with Making Philo Homestead. Today is a sad day. It's just more of a sad week because our girl Tina, she's right here. Woo, almost fell over. Right here with me. She has what we think is a parasite. We noticed, she stopped being able to move. She can't really move out of this position without us lifting her and moving her into different places. Because we noticed this started to happen, and then very quickly she started deteriorating in terms of her mobility. And so we took her to the vet. They checked it out. They did a blood test to see if she had something called CAE, which is a disease that she would have inherited from her mother through her milk. That blood work came back, and it actually says that she doesn't have that. So our vet thinks that she likely has a parasite. The Barber poleworm is what it's called, and it is blood-sucking, and anyway, can lead to death. And what the vet recommended, and based on what we're seeing, is that we put her down. So that is going to happen later this week, and it sucks. Not because we don't, death on a farm with animals, that is a natural part of life, and we've had many chickens, unfortunately, who, from raccoons that have died, and we do have coyotes in the area, so we've had chickens who have left our property and then they've been killed by the coyotes and things. So that part isn't, and even chickens that we've processed and eaten ourselves, that part in itself isn't bothersome. There's something different about this with a parasite. I think the other ones, it felt like this is part of nature, and in a way this is too, but it just feels different, and it's sad. It's pretty sad to me. So that is what we got going on here. I'm gonna move. Me and Sheena are actually going out now because Tina's kind of on edge, and so when I'm in there, she's bracing herself and she's moving more, and I don't want that because she's in a lot of pain, and you might have even been able to see it with her legs. So I'm gonna move over for now, and just park it in front of the garden. All right, I'm gonna post it up here. Sheena's hanging out with me, trying to eat my tripod again. So the way that that goats are is they're social herd animals, right? And so I just feel so bad for her and being alone. And we right away have, once we knew we were gonna have to put down Tina, I was like, we gotta find another goat. Actually, before we even knew for sure, when we thought it could even be a possibility, I was like, we need to find other goats. And the thing is our goats are 2 years old. They were born 2 years ago, February. We got them a few months after they were born in June. That June. And so we want to find another goat who is also around their age. So that is something that's important too. From what we've been learning from other people is that any goat that we bring in to be a companion with Sheena, we'd want it to be around that similar age. So we did find one that's about 2 hours north of us near Chattanooga. And we've been trying to work them. That goat is actually on its own as well. There's a language difference, so we haven't gotten all of the information. We're still trying to tease it out, but it sounds like the goat that was with that one is no longer. I don't know if they had to get rid of it. I know it was a male goat, not a female. So anyway, the one that we're looking at getting as a female goat. So we're trying to figure out that and getting up there to get that goat and bring her here so that she can be with Sheena, because they're around the same age, and it would work out well. It's an interesting journey. Because we take caring for the land really, we think it's really important. And I would say I didn't grow up thinking that. I grew up in the suburbs outside of Chicago. The grocery store was where you got your food, and you didn't think beyond that. This whole world I'm in right now is something that was never, ever in my plans. And so I feel kind of always behind and trying to learn. But one of the things that really stuck out to me once we knew we were going to buy this land and we were going to steward it, I was like, okay, if we're going to do it, then we really need to consider, how does God look at creation? What does he say about it? And living in Portland, Oregon was actually helpful for this because there's a lot of creation care and things like that there. So that definitely opened up my eyes. But now being on land and having to make decisions about how we do things or why we do things this way versus this way, how do we take care of the literal ground? Even doing no dig gardening, it was all because I wanted to make sure that we were working with the earth. I feel like my Native American neighbors, like who have such a rich history and current of like caring for land and working with the land and not trying to just take from it, but rather work with it for the flourishing of all, is something that I really appreciate, especially when I read scripture and I see how God, like Jesus, is going to redeem. He has redeemed and will fully redeem all of creation, humans and the earth and what is in it. Like that is all a part of it. And even in scripture, when it talks about how creation groans as well, like to me, I'm like, okay, Lord, this matters. And what we do, how we care for the animals we have and the things that we're doing, it matters. And so that's something that I'm so far from feeling like I have a great grasp on anything. I'm really learning, but even understanding regenerative farming better and how we do things around here and just, anyway, it's really important. And I say all that because how we treat our goat, what we do with even our kids, we're going to have a little bit of a ceremony. I'm saying ceremony, it'll probably be like 2 minutes, but our whole thing is we want them to know whether we're eating the animals, whether the animals are just here to be a part of Philo, which is what our goats were. We want to honor what God has given and take a moment to be present to like him, give him thanks for the goat that we've gotten to have for these, little less than 2 years. And just take a moment. I think so often we can just go boom, boom, boom to the next thing, and we don't take a moment to give thanks for what has been, and also an honor, like, this was a goat life, Lord. Thank you for this. We now know she's going to have to be put down, and we just want to give thanks for the time that we had with her. For us, the goats are a huge part of what we do here at Philo. Philo is short for philoxenos, which is a Greek word for hospitality in the scriptures, and it means to love a stranger. That's why we bought this property. It's literally for us to love strangers. Like, that is why we bought it. That's how we utilize it. We work with different organizations and also just friends and strangers and people we meet, like, to say, come and be. We have events here, yes, but we also have a pond with fish, so we tell people, just come and fish. Or do you need to come and just sit and be? Do you just need a place to be able to breathe, to rest, to connect with God, yourself, and others? Like, that's what this place is for. And the goats were a part of that, because we know that so many people, like, we don't live far from Atlanta. We're like 30 minutes in to get to the city, and we did that. We prayed for that intentionally because we wanted to be able to bring people here and be like, yo, you can right here. You don't have to go to a petting zoo. You can just come right here to Philo. You can see the goats. You can see the chickens. And so many times, adults and children, we've seen such joy at just getting to see goats right up in their face, like, they right here, and Tina is a part of that. And I'm really grateful. And I'm grateful because of how much it brought to other people too. Us, me and my kids and Brandon, but also to the people that came in. And so that's another part of what's sad about this. And it's not the end. There will be more opportunities, and we're looking at what that looks like for us. But it is something that I just want to mark. I think it's important, I think it's really important to be grateful for what has been. So anyway, that is what's going on with the goats. The barber pole worm. It's taken down one of our goats. Thankfully, the other one, she seems perfectly fine so far. So we're going to go with that and just pray that that stays that way. But if you think of us, pray for us as we are looking for more goats. I actually do want to get more than even another one, because I do want to just, in the future, if this happens again, be a little more prepared. All right, we had some kids over today. There were like, I don't even know, 9, 13, 15 kids over. And we were just hanging out and whatnot. But because of that, we made a lot of macaroni and cheese. That macaroni and cheese and apples, and that was extra. So I was like, well, chickens, it's a lucky day for you. But anyway, I just came into this spot underneath there's our screen porch. This is underneath it. And we have some cardboard boxes I was about to take out to start breaking them down because I need to put them in the garden. And look what I found. 2 eggs are right here. Now here's your thing. The chickens, we've been taking them out, or we've been blocking this area off. So I actually had to move. This is blocking. It's normally right here, so you can't get in. But clearly they're finding a way to still get in here. And there are some of our eggs. Who knows how long these have been in there, but I guess we'll find out. All right, so I usually get boxes from this place called Bincredibles. They have a couple locations in our area. These are from a friend who has a business where he makes planners and other things, so he has to get a lot of cardboard. The downside to the boxes like these versus the ones I normally get is all of the tape, because we do not want this in the garden at all. What I normally do, let me fix this. What I normally do is I go to Bincredibles because they get their boxes from Amazon, but the boxes don't have any labels on them. And when I say they get their boxes from Amazon, Bincredibles is literally a whole business based on getting Amazon. I don't know if it's just rejects or whatever or something. They work with them and then they get those boxes, but they don't have the labels and all of that stuff. So they have all these bins with all of this stuff from Amazon that you can dig through and get on a deal. But then they have all these leftover boxes that they give to the public for free. The one that is closer to me, about 20 minutes away, has not really had any boxes, but they have another one that's like an hour away that does. So I actually drove there last week. Oh, you also don't want that in there. I drove there last week, but it ended up being like 10 or 20 boxes, and I need enough boxes to fill my 50 by 60 plot garden. So was not the best situation, but it's okay. I probably should have gotten a box cutter so I could get this tape off. You know, it's fine. We're gonna make it work. It's one way that I can save money instead of, you know, paying for boxes, because I do not want to do that. And the reason I get the boxes is because we do no-dig gardening, and a big part of that is laying cardboard. And then we like to layer leaves and then compost on top. You don't have to do the leaves. You can just put straight compost. Because of the injuries that Brandon and I have had, we weren't able to get as many leaves. I think I need to fix this. Let me fix that. Kind of. Okay, that's a little bit better. But we weren't able to get leaves like we normally do on the property. So we might skip that part. But with boxes, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you are wetting them down, because I made the mistake of laying out, you know, who knows how many of the boxes, and then they're blowing away because of the wind, and I hadn't yet laid any compost or boxes down. Hey girl, Sheena's here. You want to say hey? You want to get on the boxes? Hey girl. All right, let's go back up. Okay. Anyway, and so then they fly away. So you got to make sure you wet them down, which also helps with as far as them getting broken down, because what's nice is you have the earthworms and other decomposers, microorganisms, all that good stuff that will take their cardboard and, you know, they're going to eat it and bring it into the soil and all that. Amazon, to their credit, you know, there's a lot of things you can say about it, right, or whatever. But one of the things that I appreciate is that their tape they use, the black tape, can go in the garden, and it's okay. So that is one thing. But this tape right here, this tape definitely cannot. Do not want this in the garden. It will not help. So I gotta rip it off. I really should have gotten a box cutter. Are you gonna poop on the boxes? Oh, you did poop. She did poop on the boxes. That's all right. But we're resetting the garden because of how everything went down last year with the injuries and not being able to finish off and just take care of it the way we wanted. So we're restarting, and I'm really hopeful. I am not healed. I still have my herniated disc, and it still is incredibly painful. Sitting down is actually not helpful. I usually don't sit that much. I stand most of the time, but for this, I was like, I can do it for a few minutes. I'm really gonna need a box cutter for that one, or something to cut that tape off. This one will be a lot easier. So yeah, so you can see what's tricky is you have these labels and then a lot of this clear tape. So I'm glad my friend gave me the boxes. I was really kind, but it definitely is the kind of thing that I really should have done with my friends when they were here earlier with their kiddos, and should have just had us all sit and do this, because it's a lot of menial work, I guess. But anyway, I said I was going to be talking seed starting, and I am. So this week, Friday is when I'm gonna get I'm gonna use potting mix. I'm not a seed starting mix. And I didn't have any on hand, so I had to order some. That is coming because all the ones I wanted to get weren't in store anywhere, so I couldn't just go buy them. So I have that coming, and then I'm going to seed start. I am late, which is relative because however you want your schedule to be. I was hoping to start planning some things 8 weeks before my expected last frost date, which is April 3rd for me. And my zone here just outside of Atlanta, Sheena, you're gonna topple this thing over. If this thing falls, it was because Sheena's underneath my tripod. Oh, okay, girl, good job. But anyway, I'm like 7 weeks, 3 days out, 7 weeks, 2 days out by the time whenever I post this. And then if I don't get the stuff till Friday, and I have plans on Friday, so I don't know when it'll come in. So I don't know if we'll get anything like planted then. So I'm just gonna be a little bit behind, and it's okay. I should say behind for me. For other people, it wouldn't be behind at all, maybe. My goal is to start peppers because those do take a long time. So I want to get my peppers, and we have hot peppers, we have bell peppers. We love peppers here in our family. So especially bell peppers, my kids love snacking on them. My husband loves making hot sauce and stuff like that. So I got some new varieties that we're going to try. I'm really excited. One of my favorite varieties we had was actually, it was a friend started it, and then I bought the plant from her, and they were these fish peppers. They were phenomenal. But we haven't had a bad pepper. I like them all. Last year we did an ornamental firecracker pepper, and it was really like cool. The plant itself was cool and different colored peppers and stuff, but I don't really want to plant that one again. I might do one just for kicks because it is pretty, but as far as like the actual peppers, I got a Thai pepper, I think it was. I'd have to look at I'll do a seed video where I show the seeds that I have. I'm waiting on a couple from Botanical Interests that I just ordered last week. But I'm looking forward to it. We are gonna it's gonna be good. There's a lot I have to do in that garden to get there. So I'm like, but we're gonna do the seed starting. We're supposed to do work on our basement, which is where I do my seed starting. So I'm a little nervous about that because I don't know where I'm gonna put them after, but I'm like, you know what, Lord, you'll tell me, you'll show me at the time, when the time comes. But anyway, I am going to be trying seed sowing in some cell flats this year, which I have never done. I have always just done, I've done it a couple different ways, but I really actually like doing solo cups. They're actually really, they're really great. You know, after the initial germination, I do something a little different for the germination, and then I will take the solo cup, we drill some holes in the bottom so I can do bottom watering, and then Sheena's eating my chair. And then I just lost my train of thought. But anyway, I'm doing something different this year. I'm gonna try something for my flowers specifically. I have only direct sown my flowers in the past. I did all of them direct sow, but I have not had the best luck with that. Not even luck, I just haven't, it hasn't been great. My zinnias, my sunflowers, excellent, no problem. Nasturtiums, marigolds, those all did great direct sowing, and they always have. But, sorry, I hear a bunch of rustling in our forest that I'm looking at, so I was like, what is that? We usually don't have coyotes during the day. I mean, there's a fence, so they wouldn't come anyway, but I'm always like, that's probably a squirrel. Anyway, I don't know where I was, and I just lost my train of thought, so we're gonna just pause there. But guys, this is gonna be a lot of tape. I think I'm gonna have to do a different plan. I'm gonna try to get some of it done now, but I won't make you listen to me do that the whole time. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna finish some of this up while Brandon has the kids. They're going to Costco, get some stuff done before I have my discipleship group, so I'm trying to get some work done. So I'm gonna keep working on this, but I'm gonna let you go. Bless you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope that you know and always remember that you are deeply loved and you matter. Your life matters, and wherever you are, whatever you're doing, remember that. You're a person of significance, and I'm so glad that you gave me some of your time and are hanging out with me. So bless you, my friend. Until next time, onward and hope.